Zaragon here, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, and I am going to react to All the Madmen by David Bowie. Haven't listened to it in a while. Let's get started. So far, this track from The Man Who Sold the World is very much in keeping with the style of his prior album, the 1969 self-titled, his second of two self-titled albums. That acoustic intro.
Day after day, they send my friends away to mansions cold and grey, to the far side of town, where the thin men stalk the streets.
Let's see. Day after day, they send my friends away to mansions cold and gray, to the far side of town, where the thin men stalk the streets, while the sane stay underground. Interesting.
The sane stay underground. Day after day, they tell me I can go. They tell me I can blow.
I'm interested in knowing who is responsible for... Oh, yeah, that's a recorder that you're hearing right there, played by producer Tony Visconti. Yeah, I was kind of wondering what that was.
To the far side of town, where it's pointless to be high, 'cause it's such a long way down. So I tell them that I can fly.
Okay, and that's Mick Ronson on guitar and Mick Woodsmany on drums and percussion. He's got the nucleus of the Spiders from Mars there together already, and this is like the first album to really have that more hard rockin' sound that he would make famous, like on Queen Bitch and then the subsequent Ziggy Stardust album.
I will scream, I will break my arm, I will do me harm.
Let's catch up with these lyrics here. Day after day, they tell me I can go, they tell me I can blow to the far side of town, where it's pointless to be high, 'cause it's such a long way down. So far, I can't quite get what's going on here, other than it just seems like futile existence.
Here I stand, foot in hand, talking to my wall. I'm not quite right at all. Don't set me free, I'm as heavy as can be. Just my...
Listen to the way that bass just kind of is so sly right under those smoldering chords. The bass played by Tony Visconti. He actually is playing a lot of instruments, doing all. This is a very hands-on production thing for him.
Every arm and knee, and my EST makes me, 'cause I'd rather stay here.
Let's see here. So I tell them that I can fly, I will scream, I will break my arm, I will do me harm. Here I stand, foot in hand, talking to my wall. I'm not quite right at all, am I? Now, it's very much playing into the title of the song. You can tell this is about people that aren't altogether psychologically. Let's see. I am quite content they're all the same as me. That's quite, because I'd rather stay here with all the madmen than perish with the sad men roaming free. And I'd rather play here with all the madmen, for I'm quite content. They're all as sane as me. Huh. So he feels accepted among the madmen. And then perish with the sad men roaming free. So I guess he's the way from his point of view. The people that are sane in the eyes of society are actually sad because they're working and they have these responsibilities where the people in the insane asylum don't have to work. They're wards of the government and they just get to stare at the walls all day and be amongst their own.
Where can the horizon lie?
It's starting to sound a little bit like Peter Hamill right there. Where can the horizon lie when a nation hides its organic minds in a cellar dark and grim? They must be very dim. So from the narrator's point of view, it's the madmen who are the smarter and better people.
Nation hides its organic minds in a cellar, dark and grim. They must be very dim. Day after day, they take some brain away, then turn my face around to the far side of town and tell me that it's real.
I'm trying to think, how late into his career was he using that kind of voice, that sort of nasally voice? I'm thinking that as I think through his albums, I'm thinking that it's kind of, it was basically confined to this part of his career. This album and Hunky Dory, and maybe a little bit on Ziggy, but not very far. He wasn't singing like that by the time of Young Americans. No. In fact, I don't think he was doing it by the time of even Diamond Dogs.
Then ask me how I feel. Here I stand, putting hand, talking to my wall.
He's basically playing in like E, the key of E. It's just jamming in E, and then it moves a little bit, like half a step down or up, like in F.
Not quite right at all. Don't set me free.
F, G.
My libido split on me. Give me some good old lobotomy. 'Cause I found a stake.
Now, what is that instrument? That sounds a bit like a. Well, it's perhaps a. Is it the Moog played by Ralph Mace, perhaps? Let's see. Going over some of the same lyrics that we heard already, I guess. Yeah, because I'd rather stay here with all the madmen than perish with the sad men roaming free. What other? Oh, there's a lyric part that I missed up here. Don't set me free. I'm as helpless as can be. My libido's spit on me, give me some good old lobotomy. Huh. So that's somewhat of a comment on the, you could say either the limited or non-existent sex life of the typical person who lives in an insane asylum. I don't know whether they're just making do with their cellmates or whether they're. I mean, funny enough, I saw a comment on YouTube just a few hours ago about the effect of like lobotomy on sexuality. Assuming, I would assume sexuality is non-existent after a lobotomy. This song, of course, came out when lobotomies were still being practiced in certain quarters, when the procedure had not been completely like ruled out. I know he's done these arrangements in quite a few songs, like towards the end where he starts clapping and having like the studio cast like back him up, kind of in a call and response sort of thing. Like I'm thinking of All the Young Dudes as a similar thing, clapping, trading the lines and such. Let's see. They're kind of just ad-libbing or for the outro. Zane, 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 Ovre, Le Chien. Yeah, a line of French. I don't know what the Zane, Zane, Zane means, but yeah. Tony Visconti as a producer is just a master of separation. Um, The latter phrase, let's see, ouvre les chiens means open the dog in French. Um, and I guess it's just kind of like a metaphor for what's going on here. Let's see. So, create an atmosphere that Bowie biographer, okay. Ah, childlike dementia is how biographer David Buckley described it. Let's see, the production made use of varispeed vocals, pitch shifting. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't think, I actually didn't, I'm kind of surprised that this particular track has such a lengthy wiki entry, but I guess at this point pretty much everything Bowie has done is, has been just kind of written about to the max. Anyway, The Man Who Sold the World, I would say, is a very interesting album in that it was never represented in any of his earlier compilations, and so if you were like, say, getting into him in the 80s and you worked your way through the changes, Vol. 1 and 2, and then gradually worked your way into the catalog based on the songs that you liked from those. You may have missed this. Like I didn't really get into this album for the first time until the late 90s and was surprised by just how good it was. And could not believe that the title track, at least, had not been included on Changes One. But anyway, All the Madmen, a great song off of 1970s, The Man Who Sold the World, produced by Tony Visconti, great producer. For more Bowie rubies, see the D directory in the links below. Zaragon sign off.